When creating and editing bulletins and full-screen alerts, you have several extra customizable options available. In the Bulletin Editor, select the last tab labeled Extras. If you leave this screen alone, it will use the default settings when displaying your bulletin. The first option is to set the bulletin as an alert. Selecting Yes will make this an alert bulletin, which overrides the current playlist. Note that this doesn't mean it's the only bulletin playing, since there could be several alerts in the zone. Alert bulletins will be the only bulletins that play in the zone. When you want your normal playlist to resume, this bulletin can be switched back to No or scheduled to end. The next option is to control how the bulletin repeats. If not changed, you're accepting the bulletin's default setting, which means it will play once per rotation. If you select Yes, then you can choose how often it will repeat. Setting at 1 means that it will repeat every other bulletin, making it appear more often. Setting it at 20 would mean that it would only play once every 20 bulletins that play in the zone, making it appear less often. Changing the dwell time allows you to control how many seconds the bulletin stays on the screen each time it displays. Letting the system decide the dwell time, it will default to a minimum of 10 seconds, but you can make it shorter or longer depending on how long you want it to remain on the display. This wouldn't apply to video bulletins, which play their full length of time before transition. Also, for template-based bulletins with text, Carousel will count the number of characters and use an equation to calculate the amount of dwell time needed. When you let the system decide dwell time, these two bulletins would appear for these amounts of time. If you set the dwell time manually, these two bulletins would play for the amount of time that you set. Track bulletin impressions will log how many times this bulletin is displayed. This can be printed out on a report, which is generated in Carousel. The final display setting is Save for Later. By turning this on, it will not display the bulletin after you press Publish. It is useful if you are creating a bulletin but need to stop partway through, or if you need to proofread prior to displaying it. It will not be displayed until you come back in and set this to No. Under Audio Settings, you can add an audio clip, which prompts you to select an audio clip from your media. If you don't have any audio in your media library, you can browse to upload from your device or drag and drop an audio file in the gray box. Note that audio will only play while this particular bulletin is being displayed. Leaving Display on Accessibility Site in RSS at Yes will allow others to see it on your accessibility site and RSS feed. This is helpful if you would like the information in the bulletin disseminated in other mediums besides just your displays. It will be viewable on your server and RSS feeds by those that can access it. Clicking No will not include it in these locations. Finally, you can add bulletin tags if you would like to more easily find your bulletin at a later date. Bulletins are searchable by titles, users who created them, and tags, so you did not need to type any tags that already have the title or username in them.